Hello friends, welcome to my channel SushantChessWise. So far we have been only discussing how to prepare the openings, advanced setups and what are the benefits of deep opening preparation. Today onwards I thought let me show you games played by my students either in tournaments or online which will emphasize the point of opening preparation, how to prepare openings, how to use it in our games and practically what lines we face. In theory we learn many things but actually they don't happen in the game. So what are the things that can actually happen in the game? So today I have taken one such game where my student was able to beat a 2500 plus player in a online game. Okay, of course in a normal game it will be much more difficult to beat even a 2100 range player, but we will come to rated players games, actual tournament ones also very soon. This I have taken because very interesting position has come. It has come from a somewhat rare line of symmetrical English. Let us see. After the move nf3 nf6, since we do play c5 to the move d4, so we also do what after g3 we place c5 here. Okay, and now if white plays c4, it will become the English opening, which is what happened in this case. So this position would come this way also. After the moves c4, c5, nf3, nf6, this way also. And d4 position leads to the Waganian gambit. After d4, cd, and d4, e5, and b5, d5, cd, bishop c5, which I have discussed before. And in my own games playing section also, you can find games of this line. So today's game got us into see this position after the moves c4, c5, nf3, nf6, and now here the opponent played, let's say g3. So this same position would have come with this our move order after c4 here. Okay. So now of course the student went g6, bg2, bg7, castle, castle. As the name suggests, many moves they go in a same way symmetrically, both play the same. And c3, and c6. Of course, as we know, black cannot copy till the end. So here white plays d4, opens the game. C takes d4. We cannot keep symmetry now, of course. Nd4. And here it is really questionable what should black do, because see, he can't play the move d6, right? If he plays d6, the pawn on c6 is lost. There are two attacks on c6, and you see that black cannot play d5. There are already see too many attacks on the d5 square. So how is black supposed to free his game? You can see that the move e5 is a positional blunder. It will hand over the d5 square. This knight can jump to b5 and come to d6. So all this is really bad. So black manages the gambit with d6. This is a very interesting gambit. This I have also played online against 2400 plus players. This opponent was very strong, but she got baffled. His rating was 2570. Okay. So see, after nc6, bc, bishop c6, it looks like what has happened, right? But the positional play is very powerful. Rook b8, and see, it's very hard for white to free his pieces. Firstly, you may note that queen is heading to this a5 square. We are eyeing this diagonal, and this queen can be easily shifted to h5 followed by bh3 and knight g4. Attack can be commenced. Black basically tries to play positionally as well. So here generally the bishop rushes back because there is a minor threat of, you can say, qc7 also now. So after qc7, bishop moves, then this c4 is hanging, right? So bishop rushes back, black plays queen a5. All this was theory for us, and my student didn't expect the move nb5, which came as a surprise. Very strange move. Later on we did some analysis on the engine also when he showed me the game, and we concluded that bb7 was simplest because after bd2 there is nothing much. Queen can go to a6. Very important move here, you see. And after takes, queen takes b7, and the threat of a6 followed by qb2 makes black's task very easy. See, bishop c3, rook d8, good move, and see, black will break with d5, giving brilliant compensation for the pawn. And you can note also a6 is coming. This knight will sit on a3. Let's say now qd3, then d5, and you can note that there are already threats. So the threat being d takes c4 followed by queen takes b5. So this is a threat here. But anyway, my student played a6, opponent went bd2, now qb6. Here too qd8 was a bit better. Opponent went bb6, and now queen has to go back to d8. Basically, the point was that now if the knight moves to c3, then we can take rook b2, giving a good position to black. But there is a small problem here. Opponent wants bishop a7. And of course, here opponent was strong, so he's trying to scare us. See, he's going to trap the exchange over here, right? And my student said, let me sack the exchange bb8. I was keen on the move qb6 here, qb6, and then see we get this AB qb8, but this after a4 can be a very tricky position. Although black is somewhat better, this knight can be maneuvered this way to c5 perhaps, but there is some play for white. So he decided to go b takes c4. Now the threat is qb6 trapping the bishop. Bishop moves away. d5 controlling the center. Next we want e5. See, the play is there, not such a great one, but there is some compensation. bd4, qc7, and now see white's play has to be very accurate, because playing f4 looks very anti-positional. This knight might jump to g4, then e3 is weak, bishop is under fire. Imagine this position, f4 and g4, but the computer vouches for this, says that this is fine. Maybe qd4, and he is okay with the position. qd5 can be very risky due to qb6 check. Here the opponent was worried about the threat of e5, so he went with bishop f6, and as soon as bf6 happens, you will now note that black is not at all worse. Major problems are on the b2 square. After b2 is gone, this pawn will become a passer. Bishop is heading to f5. Things are becoming very difficult. So queen takes d5, this was the idea. Let me show you some lines. If qc2, then bishop f5, queen d2, then just rook b8. See the pressure, too much pressure on b2 after bd5, rook b2. The c pawn is very dangerous. Should be a winning position for black. After qd5 was played, okay, there is one more choice, the move bishop d5, to which rook d8, and now see e6 is a major threat. So rook c1, e6, this is also winning for black. After rook c4, we can just move the queen away when this bishop would be lost. So queen takes d5 was played in the game, but now see bishop b2, rook b1. This rook b1 is blunder, and after c3 it is black who is clearly better. Hardly there is any way now for survival, because as he played most obvious move qc6, he played that, but this loses by force. There comes takes, and bishop e6. This won't look like losing, but it is actually a one game now. Bishop is jumping to a2. So a4, bishop a2, and now see threat is to take on b1. White just plays a5, sets a small trap here, but it already backfired, because bb1, rook b1, c2, bishop cannot be taken, pawn queens, rook moves, and the trap is that if black hurriedly plays c1 queen, then rook takes, bishop takes, a6, and there is no way to stop a7. See, whatever is played a7, next move a8, and bishop a8, equal game. Okay, but we just went rook c8. After rook c8, the game is decided. If bb7, then there are many moves to choose from. My student went rook c5 here, safe approach, but you must note that c1 queen also wins over here, because takes, check, and rook can come behind the passed pawn. Then bishop can stop the pawn to reach a7. He got a very similar position in the game. So he played rook c5, forcing a6, and rook a5. Now see, c1 is not running away. So whatever is played, kg2, c1, qc1, or c1, opponent played king f3 and to bishop a3. He chose to resign, because next move bishop is heading to c5, and permanently we will seal the a7 square, and rook will start grabbing the king side. Of course, it's a lost position. So you saw how the game suddenly switched character from a slow positional game. It became a sharp game. Maybe the opponent was caught off by the surprise and the move nb5. He tried to play surprisingly, but black was able to counter the threats and create his own counterplay. So do let me know how you are finding this game in the comments below. Thanks for your time.